Leon and Uwala here, coming at you from North Shore, Oahu. I just filmed a class that's great for beginners or level 1 practitioners. And the idea is to stretch the hamstrings, the calves, the hips, the whole back body. So if you feel like practicing with me today, I also have a playlist down at the comments below that you can click play. And then we'll start lying on the back in Supta Baddha Konasana. Feet together, knees wide, one hand on the heart, one hand on the belly. I'll meet you there. Lying on your back, one hand on the heart, one hand on the belly. Just witness the breath. Feel the movement in your palms as they float. And rock. Taking this moment witness your humanity, the function of the lungs and the heart. Say something kind to yourself. Being a human can be challenging sometimes, but as long as you have a heart that beats and lungs that breathe, you'll be all right. On your next in-breath, take a long stretch of the arms overhead and the feet down below, like you're waking up, starting all over again. And then give yourself a hug. Draw your knees into your chest. You can wrap your arms around your shins or rock side to side. Now holding on to your knees, lift your head off the floor and draw your nose in towards your knees. We call this shape Apanasana. We're curling in, the hip flexors are flexed. And we're just gonna move through a series of postures that begins with this one. So we'll call this pose A, exhale. And then pose B, extend your arms over your head like you're riding a roller coaster and lift your feet up towards the ceiling. This is a pike position. You're gonna flex your ankles, you're gonna press down with your sacrum and create a little arch in your lower back. Now pose C, feet on the floor with the knees bent and arms by your sides, like a preparation for bridge pose. And as you might imagine, pose D, bridge. Lift the hips off the mat. So now we're extending the hip flexor muscles, or hip flexor joint. And then we'll repeat that. So on the breath out, bring the hips back down. On the breath in, lift your feet up towards the sky, arms overhead. Exhale, drawing the knees in. Hold onto your shins, lift your head off the floor, nose to knees. And keep going. Inhale, arms overhead, feet towards the ceiling. Exhale, feet to the floor, arms by your sides. Slow count of 4 to lift the hips off the earth. 3, 2, 1. Exhale, slowly lower the hips back down. Inhale as the arms reach up, the heels reach up. And exhale, curling the knees in, lift the head off the earth. It's just a great way to reset the spine and warm up the hamstrings. Inhale, arms up, heels up. Exhale, arms to mat, feet to floor. Inhale, lift the hips off the earth. Ground the big toes the whole time. Exhale, go slow, the hips touch down. Inhale, arms rise, heels rise. Exhale, coil in, nose to knees, knees to nose. Inhale, re-extend to that pike. You can close the eyes, slowly let the feet and hands hands come down by your sides. Inhale, undulate the hips up off the mat. Broad collarbones, draw the shoulders back. Exhale, the hips kiss the earth. Inhale, slow that pike shape, arms up, heels up. Exhale, grab your knees, lift your head off the floor, flexing the hip flexors. Inhale, press up through the heels, arms overhead. Exhale, feet to the floor, arms by your sides. Inhale, lift the hips, open up the front of the hip flexors. And then exhale, take it back down. Inhale, heels up, hands up. Exhale, draw the knees in, lift the head off the earth. Inhale, re-extend. This time, keep your arms over your head, just bring your feet to the floor. Heel toe the feet as wide as the mat, and then tilt the knees to the left. Exhale. Tilt the knees back up towards the ceiling, breathe in. And then over to the right, breathe out. Good. Fan back and forth 3 more times, inhaling through center. Exhaling to the left. Now imagine that right knee can reach forward and touch the earth. Inhale, knees towards center. Exhale as the knees tilt towards the right side. The left knee draws forward and tries to touch the floor. 2 more times. Inhale, lift up. And keep active through the arms, like someone's pulling your hands up over your head. Inhale through center. As the knees tilt towards the right, you're stretching your left psoas, right, by that hip flexor. And then inhale, knees to center. Exhale, knees to the left, stretching the right hip flexor. Awesome. 1 more time. Go over to the right, and we'll pause there. If that feels good, take the right ankle on top of the left thigh. Try to guide that left knee forward and towards the floor. If that bothers your knee, don't worry about it. You can still get the stretch by energetically reaching through the leg. And then hold on to your left wrist with your right hand. Try to pull that left arm up and out of the shoulder socket. So if you could see yourself from the ceiling's perspective, you're just stretching long across that left side of your body, from the hand to the knee. And then elongate through the tail, just like cat pose. 1 more, inhale. Exhale. Awesome, uncross the ankle, spin the knees up and over towards the other side, and we will switch the arms as well. But first, take that left ankle over the right thigh, guide that right knee forward and down, and then catch the right wrist with the left hand, pull it up overhead. Elongate through the tail, and even to that right hip. One more, good breath. Uncross the left ankle, draw the knees up, and this time make your way into a happy baby, holding onto the inner thighs or the inner feet. You can pull down on the heels, pull down on one at a time, rock side to side, or stretch one leg out at a time. Psoas muscle we just stretched, it often leads to back pain, so it's a nice way to start that way. But that pose you can do while lying in bed. I did it this morning. Just a great way to reset the upper half and lower half. Now, to also help with back pain, we strengthen the core. So draw the knees together, hold onto the back of your thighs, and see if you can rock up into boat pose and pause there. Bring the big toes to touch. Imagine the inner thighs have a block between them, and then the shoulder blades kiss together on the back. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2. Awesome. Release, come into tabletop. Crisscross the shins, roll over them, or swing your heels around. Once you find that hands and knees alignment, then melt your heart towards the ground for cow. Exhale, round your spine, press into cow. Just take 2 more cycles like that. Inhaling, feel the collarbones go broad as you look up. Exhaling, pushing the hands down around the back. 1 more cycle, just like that. Now on hands and knees, we'll take the knees to touch, and then stretch the right heel straight back in line with the right hip. You can stay like that, or the opposite arm is going to reach forward. Either way, stabilize. Spiral the right toes in, turn on that right quad and glute. Feel the low belly lift in and up, and the low ribs also hollow. Now extend long through that left arm if you're in that variation. Breathe in. Exhale, bring the left elbow to meet the right knee or the nose to the knee. And then inhale, re-extend from toes to fingertips. Do that again. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, re-extend. Exhale, curling in strong core creates a happy spine. Inhale, strong back body. Good, one more. Exhale, curl in. Inhale, reach out. Awesome. Now keep your right leg straight. Just let the right toes tuck under on the ground at the back of your mat, and then spin your left hand up into the sky for a twist. Check in with that right quadricep and glute. Turn it on. Squeeze the muscles. Good, and then keep that going as you weave your left arm underneath your right arm, threading the needle. Rest the left side of your head on the floor or on a cloth. And then the right hand can travel forward, or you want to create a half line. Go for it. Notice where you feel the floor push down even more to the back of the left hand. Return the right hand to the earth by your face. Unwrap that left hand up into the sky. Keep the legs the same. Place both hands down, shoulder distance apart. Shift weight into that right leg that's straight, and then kick the left leg up into three-legged dog. Open up that left hip. Draw a circle with that knee. Now lengthen through your left leg up in the sky. Breathe in. Exhale, left knee to nose, shoulders over wrists. Inhale, press back through the left tippy toes. Exhale, curl in, knee to nose. One more time, kick high. Exhale, knee to nose. Just pause here, take a breath in, and then step forward with the left foot. Soften the right knee down onto the earth. We're gonna keep our hands down, so if you wanna use blocks or even pillows, you could do that. And then just look at your left toes, watch them spread wide. Imagine you could grip the floor like a suction cup with the arch of the foot and pull the floor back. Now the right toes are untucked, and you can feel all 5 of your right toenails smear into the mat. If you want a little more stretch in that right hip crease, hover the right knee off the mat by pushing into the top of your right foot. And then stay heavy in that right hand, heavy in that right hip. And then I invite you to take that left hand to the back of your neck and just squeeze, massage. Full breath into that right hip crease. And then shift into a half splits. Walk the hands back, walk the hips back. Flex your left ankle so the toes lift up, but then push forward with the ball mound. Watch as your kneecap slides up your thigh, turning on that quadricep, and then add that micro bend. Now kind of like a cow pose, broaden through the sitting bones, lift through the tail, and then let the belly fold in. 3 more breaths, right down the middle. Cool. Now the blocks are great here if the floor is far away. We're just gonna add an external rotation. Spin the left toes open towards 9 o'clock. And then you might wanna walk the hands over to the left side of the left leg for a little more intensity. My hip bones are no longer squared forward. They're actually pivoted to the side, to the left. And my left hip crease is farther back than my right, creating this extra long line from the outer hip to the outer ankle. Then anchor that ankle, push down through the floor. Breathe 3 more. 2. Now if you walked your hands over towards the left side of your left leg, just take your right hand over to where it came from, to the right side of the mat. And we'll make our way to a modified side plank. So weave that left foot all the way back towards the back edge of your mat. Your right hand is down, your right knee is on the ground, and then we'll lift that left arm up. Now feel the shoulders squeeze together on the back body. Hug the low ribs in, lengthen through the tail, and then explore lifting that left heel. Turn on the left glute, the quad, and your left toes are spiraled in, so the outer edge of the foot is parallel to the ceiling. 3 more deep breaths. Option, bring the left arm by the ear. For 2. Ground that right index finger knuckle. Good, and then come onto hands and knees. Press into cat pose when you get there. Round through the spine, breathing out the whole way. Inhale, come into cow. 1 more round. push down. Inhale, look up. Awesome. And then we'll bring the knees to touch, work the other way. So the left leg will extend straight back, hug the low ribs in, and then the right arm can extend forward. Take a moment to organize, turning on the muscles of that left leg. Rounding into left index finger knuckle, take a deep breath in. And then exhale, bring the right elbow to the left knee or the nose to knee. Inhale, re-extend. 3. Exhale, coil in. Inhale, reach. 2. Exhale, curl. 1 more. Inhale, press it out. Exhale, curl it in. Okay, this time we'll reach long. Keep the left leg straight as your toes tuck under the mat behind you, and then twist right arm. Here's where you check in with that left glute. Fire it up. Strong base, long spine, breathe in. Exhale, weave right arm under left, threading the needle right side of the head down on the floor. That left hand can travel forward or add the half bind if you did that before. Do your best to stay active through your extended left leg. 3 more breaths. Unwrap. Take that left hand to the mat, right arm unwinds to the sky. Inhale. Both hands on the floor. Exhale. The left leg stays straight, tucking the toes under, shift the weight into the left leg and lift the right. 3-legged dog, open up through the hips. Take a few breaths. Now lengthen through the right leg, breathe in. Exhale, bring the right knee to touch your nose. Inhale, kick back through the right tippy toes. Exhale, coil in, knee to nose, navel to spine. 1 more time, kick it high. Exhale, knee to nose, hover and hold just for the breath in. Create space between you and the floor, protract, and then big step through. Lower the back knee. We'll keep the hands on the earth. And as we're settling in, you can choose to take the back of your hands to the earth. So all of your fingernails are facing down, pointing backwards towards your back foot. And you can witness the right toes spread wide, grip into the earth. Feel the heel get heavy, pull the floor back. Meanwhile, the left toenails smear into the mat, lifting that left kneecap perhaps. And on the last 3 breaths, you could take the right hand to the nape of the neck, give it a good squeeze. It's all connected. When the chin draws in to the chest, the back body gets longer, from the neck all the way down to the low back. Get heavy in that left hip on this last breath. And then we'll walk the hands back and lengthen through the right leg. Under blocks in their highest setting is great. What we're looking for is more a spine alignment. So as if you were lying on the floor, draw the shoulders back, stick out your butt seemingly. Little bend in the knees, great. And then turn on the quad for that reciprocal inhibition. When the quad turns on, the hamstring releases. And then active through the foot, that half flex, half point, utilizes all 4 quadrants of the leg. Check in with your jaw, with the back of your neck. One more breath. Just be curious about this external rotation as you spin the right toes open towards 3 o'clock. Follow the sensation as it shifts to the outer thigh. And then perhaps the hands travel to the right side of your right leg. And my toes swivel off the mat, those left toes. It's okay, you still got that left knee beneath the left hip. And then you can pull that right hip crease farther back energetically while you anchor your right ankle into the earth. Move into the outer hip, and if it bothers your right knee, bend it slightly. 2 more breaths. And we'll set up for our modified side plank. So walk your left hand over towards that left side of your mat, and then weave your right foot towards the back edge of your mat. Lift all the limbs on the ground, find your alignment, so the shoulders squeeze, the tailbone lengthens, the ribs curl in, and the right quad is already engaged before you lift the right heel. on high plank pose. Take the right hand down, extend the right toes behind you, followed by the left. Pause for 3 breaths. Same rules apply. Turn on those quads, lift through the low belly, look forward. One more. Good, and then lower all the way down to the floor. Go slow. Awesome. From here, we'll stretch through the shoulders. Take your left arm open to the left, so it's lined up with your armpit, and then the left ear to the earth. Draw your right heel towards your seat, like you want to kick your butt, and then roll over onto that left thigh, that left hip, and the right toes just spiral around and touch the ground behind. Now the right hand can rest on the floor beneath your shoulder, or you can wrap your right forearm across your low back. Okay, active through that extended left arm, feel your fingertips push into the floor. Try to micro bend that left elbow. And an action like you're doing a shoulder shrug with that left shoulder head drawing up off the ground and down your back. It'll accentuate the stretch. Go over the right shoulder one more time. And go onto the belly so you can switch sides. Right hand straight out to the right. Roll over onto the right hip. The left toes can tap the ground behind you. And that left hand can stay on the floor beneath your shoulder. Or add that half bind. You can lean back a little or a lot. You're choosing the intensity of your stretch. If you're hypermobile, we don't want to rely on that flexibility. It's not really going to do any good for us. We need to incorporate the strength. So press down with the fingertips. Micro bend the right elbow. Loop the right shoulder head back. And then imagine you can see over your left shoulder. 3 more breaths. Awesome. And when you come back onto your stomach, just let your arms dangle back so they're by your sides. We're gonna have the fingernails facing down, facing the ground, just like your toenails. And then feel the big toes come together, but the heels go wide, pigeon-toed. Spread through all the toenails, squeeze through the knees, push down with your feet, lengthen the tailbone, push down with your pubic bone, and then begin to lift your forehead off the floor. Roll your shoulder heads back and down. Keep your fingernails on the mat, but imagine you could drag the mat forward with a little bend in the elbows. Lift through the heart. Check in with the toenails again, spread them wide, push them down, turn on those quads. Check in through the tail, lengthen it, press through the pubic bone. And then let the hands fly up and back behind you for 3, 2, 1. Awesome, release. Let the right cheek kiss the ground and just breathe. Awesome, return your forehead to the floor. We'll do the same thing. Press down with the feet, turn on the knees, lengthen the tail, press down with the pubic bone. Inhale, lift the head, loop the shoulders back, and then fly the arms. Nice. Now, this is like cobra without the hands, but let's add the hands. Place the hands lightly on the floor by your ribs, underneath the elbows, and then you can stay like this, or use the hands to help you lift your ribs even more. You're still toning the quads and the abdomen, and maybe the hips and thighs fly off the mat. Pull the floor back, shoulders back, 1 more deep breath. Come into a child's pose. The knees can go wide, the hips to the heels, the forehead to the floor. As you take a few breaths here, notice how the body's feeling at this point in your practice. And send your breath, send your attention to any body parts that are needing some more love today. Remember, you can always come back to this pose. Take 1 more breath. Good. Go slow, rising up onto the hands and knees, breathing. Tucking the toes, lift the knees, downward dog, breathe out. Take a few breaths. Paddle out the heels, or maybe stillness feels best. Yeah. Go ahead and bend your knees as much as you need to so you can lift up through the tailbone. Yeah, nice, Raj. Press back with your hands, press back with your chest. rise onto your tippy toes, look at your hands, bend your knees a lot, and then step forward, feet hips width apart. Halfway rise on the breath in, and then catch opposite elbows. Fold forward, bend your knees generously. Continue to feel the toes spread wide, and then let the hips lean forward so the toes come alive. It feels good in the torso to sway side to side, go for it. Maybe eventually the legs get longer, your kneecaps lift. Relax the arms down. Take that halfway lift pause there. Inhale. With a flat back, shoulders pinch, take hands to hips, and then go slow as you rise the rest of the way to standing pose. Inhale. And arms by your sides. With closed eyes, take a moment. Notice if you're leaning forward or back. Notice if you're shifting weight into one leg or the other. Try to find that perfect stack. Breathe everything out. Inhale, open your eyes, reach your arms up to the sky. Exhale, fold forward all the way back. Inhale, halfway rise. Exhale, hands to the mat, step the feet back into the plank pose, and take a breath in when you get there. Exhale, choose chaturanga or knees to chest and chin. Inhale, find your version of cobra. And then we'll take it back, downward facing dog. Invite a deep breath in. Smooth breath out. And stretch your right leg to the sky, nice and high. Exhale, bring the knee to the nose one time. Inhale, re-extend through the right toes. Now exhale, stepping the right foot forward. This time we'll keep the left knee off the mat. Bring your hands up to your hips and rise up to find high lunge. Now when you get there, we're gonna create a little bend in that back knee so you can lift the front of your hip bones. Imagine the ribs and the hip bones had little suspenders connecting the two, and then keeping the hips like that. Maybe the left leg goes straight, maybe just lengthens a little bit. And then as if the left thigh bone can push the left hip forward, the right knee will stack, and then let the arms come up overhead. Nice high lunge, crescent lunge. Take a breath in. Now on the breath out, open your elbows wide, hover the left knee an inch above the earth, and then re-extend back into that high lunge, arms overhead. So as we bring the elbows wide, we're squeezing the shoulder blades together on the back, strong rhomboids. Inhale, re-extend arms overhead. Do it again. Lower the back knee just an inch above the earth. Feel that length in your tail, and then re-extend arms overhead. Awesome. Fan open to warrior two. Spin the left heel to the floor, open the arms wide. Take your time. You can see that big toe inside of your right thigh bone. Stacking knee over ankle. And then imagine someone was pulling on your left hand. Lean back a little bit. Now squeeze the shoulder blades together, and imagine your feet could pull the floor together. Awesome. Lengthen through the tailbone. Exhale. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Lift the right arm overhead. Feel your left leg strong. 2 more breaths. Inhale, come up through your warrior two. Exhale for your side angle variation. That right forearm to the right thigh. Use that gentle pressure to guide the right knee open. Scoop your right sits bone under. Drive more weight down your left leg. And then maybe the left arm comes over ear. If you're breathing okay, option to take the right hand a little closer to the earth on a block or the floor. Either way, try to maintain that side angle in your extended side angle pose. One tip to check your own alignment, see if you can look down your left armpit. Can you see a straight line from your armpit, your hip to your heel? Cool. Now can you keep that in half moon? Left hand to hip, walk the right hand forward, slide the left foot up the floor and then off the floor. Remember when we did modified side plank? Same thing, spiral the left toes in, so the foot is pigeon-toed slightly. Turn on the glute, the quad, lengthen the tail, and then open up that left hip bone while pushing down with the right big toe. Now the left hand can float. Maybe the right hand gets a little lighter. Wear your eyes. Focus. 3, 2, From here, we'll step it back to the warrior two. Don't worry about it making it perfect. Just land. Take a breath in. And then ride your out breath all the way down. Exhale. Step back, high plank. Inhale. Chaturanga. Breathe out. Up dog. Breathe in. Down dog. Let it go. Take it back. Let it back. Lift the left leg. Inhale. Bring the knee to the nose. Exhale. Inhale. Press it back. Exhale. Big step through. Take the hands to the hips as you rise into high lunge. Just like before, we'll micro bend the back knee so we can manipulate the pelvis, lifting the pointy hip bones. Now that you have this neutral pelvis, see if you can press back through the right leg a little or a lot. And as you drive the right hip forward, that stacks the left shin. Good. Arms overhead, breathe in. Ground into that left big toe. It'll translate energy up the inner thighs. And then exhale, open the elbows wide, hover the right knee an inch above the earth. Inhale, re-extend, arms overhead, straighten your back. Good. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, use those rhomboid muscles. Inhale, rising up. Exhale, get low, squeeze the inner thighs towards the midline. Awesome, re-extend, arms to the sky. Make it warrior two, exhale, spin the right heel down, arms wide. Take a deep breath. Look for your left big toe. Now imagine your left heel can stomp straight down through the floor, and that'll help you lift the left hip bone off of the thigh bone. And then the right hand reaches back just so you can stack the ribs. Awesome. Steady in that right quad and glute. Turn on those muscles. Exhale. Inhale, reverse the warrior, left arm overhead. 3 more good breaths. See if you can spiral your left ribs open. You could try using that right arm like a backhanded stroke to help you reverse the left ribs even more. Good. Inhale, coming up through center. Ease your way into side angle pose. Left forearm to the thigh for now. Heavy in that left heel, scoop the sitting bone and then drive more weight down that back leg. And from the back leg through the extended right arm, fill it with breath. Using that left elbow to weave the right ribs open. Check in with the breath. And perhaps the left hand starts to search for the earth or the block. Check in with the right leg again. Do you feel your quad firing, the glute firing? Okay, take another breath in. Exhale, right hand finds the right hip. Look down. Walk your left hand forward. Slide your right foot up your mat and then lift your right foot off your mat. Flexing the ankle, turning the toes in slightly. And then your right hand is going to help you peel your right hip bone open as you push down with your left big toe even more. That equal and opposite force will help you balance. And then the right hand can lift. Check in with the muscles of the legs, turn them on. And then maybe less weight in the left hand, maybe just the fingertips. Little bend in the standing leg is great. Take 3 more breaths. 2. 1. Warrior 2. Exhale, big step back, just arrive. Awesome, and then ride your out breath all the way through. Plank to chaturanga. Coming through up dog, and then you choose. Child's pose or downward dog. Breathe out. Big breath wherever you're at. Awesome. If you're in child's pose, you can come back to the dog. From the downward dog, we'll elevate the heels, look forward. Exhale, bend the knees, walk or hop to the top of your mat. Bring your big toes together this time. Lengthen the spine halfway. Hold forward, exhale. Now bend the knees deeply for chair pose. Curl the tailbone under. The hands can reach forward or up by your ears. Try to bring more weight into the heels. Move your hips back. And then deepen the bend in your knees. Now consciously ask your right foot to take over all of your weight. Spread out your right toes. And then go slow as you rise up. Standing on the right leg, lift the left knee so it floats in front of the hip. One-legged standing pose. Feel the right glute firing. And then create an eagle shape by wrapping the left thigh over the right thigh. The toes can land on the floor or maybe they swivel behind the calf. And then to add the arms, we'll weave the left arm underneath the right arm. Slowly squeezing to the midline, the biceps, the inner thighs, even the perineum, the squeeze between the sitting bones and the tail. And then if you want to create sleeping eagle, slowly folding forward. The elbows can search for the knees. Now imagine the more you squeeze your knees together, the more broad your low back gets. Those thigh bones widen. Take your breath there. 2 more. Take a slow unwrapping of the arms as you rise up to one-legged standing pose. Pause. And then go slow as you explore Warrior 3. Keep a little bend in your right knee. Sweep your arms back behind you and then float the left leg behind you. Spiral the toes inward, that same internal rotation. Keep the bend in the standing leg, but lengthen your tailbone, like when we laid on our belly in the beginning. And then maybe the arms travel up by the ears for 3, 2, 1. We're coming down. Take the hands to the floor. Step your left foot towards the back of the mat, and then lift the right leg high. 3-legged dog. Open up the hips. Deep breath. Good. And then we'll recover in a pigeon pose. Take your time to swing that right shin forward so it's behind your wrists. Now, I invite you to set up the ankle first, if that's accessible. Get the heel on the floor, the ankle flexed, and then lay the knee down across from it. The hips can be on a block or the earth. Take one breath, lifting your chest. And then go ahead, walk your hands forward. You can stack your head on your hands. We'll be here for 10 breaths. Keep your mind involved with the breath. Listen to the body parts that are receiving the stretch. And imagine the breath traveling to that place, creating space and softness. More breaths to go. Go slow as you walk back up onto the hands. From here, you're going to lean onto that right hip. Pull that left heel in, bending that left knee, and then lean back so you can straighten your right leg in front of you. So we're going to work on a quad stretch for this left thigh. So I'm going to try to bring my knees together, my thighs together. I'm going to use my left hand to pull my left heel in, but also spin my left heel open. So I'm trying to get my left pinky toenail to the floor, just outside my hip. And then you could be sitting on a pillow if it's a little intense, or you can stay like this. If you're not quite feeling anything in your left quad, go ahead and lean back onto the elbows. Pause for a moment, lift the bum, scoop the tailbone under, check in with that left quad. Still nothing, then lower down onto your back. Do that same lift of the hips, that scoop of the tail. And if you still feel nothing, you can slide that right foot to the floor with the right knee bend. Do that same lift of the hips, the scoop of the tail. Staying there. Go left arm can travel up overhead. And for even more fun, the right hand can pull the right knee in, leading into the quad, which is a different sensation than that psoas stretch. Psoas was earlier, higher up into the hip crease. Now we're down into the meaty part of the thigh. Wherever you feel the sensation, just protect the knee. And then we'll slowly rise from whatever variation you're in. Eventually lean onto that right hip and just swing that left leg around. And just to reintegrate, have your legs in front of you and just squeeze your knees straight like 5 times. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Awesome. And then we'll come into an upside down plank or tabletop. So you can keep the legs straight, take the hands behind you, lift the hips, come into an upside down plank, or bend the knees, put the feet on the floor, upside down tabletop. Either way, the goal is to open the hip flexors. And then you can lower the bum back down. Coming into a boat pose, you can hold onto the thighs, lift the feet. Now we're flexing the hip flexors. Reach out long through the arms, lift the chin, take 3 more breaths. 2. Now can we rock and roll into chair pose? Hold onto the back of your thighs, rock back. Take as many rocks as you like, but we'll end up with the feet on the mat and the hips off the mat. You could use your hands if you like. When you get to that chair shape, we want the big toes together, knees together. Scoop the tailbone under, move your butt back, bend the knees deeper. Feel the breath in the upper back. Feel the exhale in the belly button. Tell the left foot to take all the weight. Inhale, lift the right knee, one-legged standing pose. Great. Once you catch the balance, weave right thigh over left. Swivel the toes behind the calf. And then right arm under left. Find your steadiness by squeezing everything around everything. And then the elbows can curl in towards the knees. Try to swivel the knees towards the right so they stack under the elbows. Keep grounding through the left big toe. Maybe the head falls into the crossed arms. 2 more breaths. Start to unwrap the arms, lift up through the right thigh, one-legged standing pose, catch your balance. Catch your breath. And then warrior 3 is next, slowly bending the standing knee, extend your arms behind you, get back through the right heel, internal rotation, shoulder squeeze, lengthen your tailbone, lift the pit of the belly, and then the arms can come forward for 3, 2, 1. Touch the ground, step the right foot back, kick the left leg high, 3-legged dog, open wide. And then enjoy this pigeon stretch, drawing the left shin behind the wrists. Maybe the ankle lands first, followed by the knee. Take your time. Putting a prop underneath the left hip or even in front of that right hip crease. A pillow can go there. Breathe in as you lift the chest. And then go slow. Take the hands forward. Count 10 mindful breaths. To the left hip. Bring that right knee in, bend it. After bringing the right knee beneath the left heel, and then move back. Stretch your left leg forward. Now, protecting the knee means bringing the thigh bones to parallel, more or less, and having the top of the right foot on the floor. So I'm going to pull my heel in, but I don't want to sit on my heel. I'm going to push my heel away from me so I can slide my seat just inside the heel. And ideally, you can feel that right pinky toenail touch the floor. And then this might be great, breathing into that right quad. Or perhaps the elbows come back. And then you're just going to do a little lift of the hips, scooch of the tailbone under, and then lower the hips onto the mat. From here, you could choose, going down even more. But after every rendition, you do that same lift of the hips and the scoop of the tail. That by itself will accentuate the stretch. Or right arm overhead, left foot on the floor with the knee bend. Same scooch. For the full expression, curl that left knee in. Keep driving that right shin forward and towards the floor. Awesome. Wiggle your way out of that one. Just like last time, we'll lean to the left, unwind that right leg, and go for those knee squeezes. So turning on the quad, just spice some life into it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, cool. And then we'll set up for a seated forward fold. So while I do want your quads to be on, let the knees bend enough to get the sitting bones on the earth. And then if you can, squeeze through the quads and like the back of the knees can touch the ground, great. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, reach for whatever you got. We'll take 5 breaths. First, breathe into the low back, get long. Softening the belly down towards the thighs, breathe out. Breathing into the middle back. Extending the ribs forward and towards the floor. Breathe into that space between your shoulder blades, the rhomboid muscles, fill it up. And imagine the heart melting a little more. Just at the base of the neck, take your breath there. And longer through the neck, fold again. One last breath, reaching out through the crown. Slowly round the spine, roll yourself up. Scoop the shoulders back. Take the hands to the mat, scooch your hips forward. Keep your heels digging into the ground, float your arms forward and up, inhale. Take 5 counts to lower down, exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Once your head lands, slide your heels in. Feel your heels. Feel the shoulder blades loop back. Feel that little arch in your lower back. Now feel the breath up in the chest. Open your mouth, empty the breath down in the belly. Inhale, lift your hips off the ground, bridge pose. 5 breaths. Now we did this in our dynamic warm-up. However, now you are stronger, you are more flexible, so use everything you've got. Narrow the knees, root through the big toes. One more big lift, breathe in. And exhale, lower the hips to the floor. Just let the heels widen. Press the knees in for a moment, pause. We are going to do one more back bend. You can choose to repeat the bridge, or I'll cue you into full wheel. Trust that you have all the tools you need. You are ready. Reset the feet. Release the breath. Inhale, lift the hips. Now this might be where we stay, or take the hands back by the shoulders. Come onto your tippy toes. Press onto the crown of your head for a moment. Loop your shoulders back. Feel the elbows knit in towards the midline, and the knees do the same thing. And then the head lifts off the floor. Press into the tippy toes and breathe. Imagine the block between the inner thighs. And then slowly we'll take it down, chin to chest if you're in heel pose. Release the interlaced hands if you're in bridge. This time holding onto the kneecaps, draw them in and draw circles with your knees. reverse the direction of your circles. For our final twist, I'm going to recommend eagle twist, but if you prefer a different way, that's fine too. Cross right thigh over left, maybe the right toes swivel behind the left calf. You're going to lift your hips and scooch them to the right an inch, and then the knees will twist over to the left. You're going to try to get them all the way up into your left armpit, so you're really compact. And then drape the left arm across the right thigh. Hold on to that outer hip or hip crease. Try to pull that hip crease down as the right arm opens wide, chin to the right. Notice if your inner thigh muscles are active. Maybe relax the muscles. Just let the bones hold each other in place. You're in the eagle variation. I'm going to have you untangle your feet first and then roll onto your back. This time as you grab the kneecaps, move the legs, I guess, independently, like you're mirroring one another, so the knees go away from each other and then they come back together, and then you draw circles like that. Open and in. And then for the other side, take the left thigh over the right. Maybe the toes wrap, scooch the hips to the left, bring the knees all the way up and over to the right armpit. The right arm looks across the left thigh. And then the left arm opens to the side. Once you add that grace to let go as body into this pose, but when you get them out. Time to unwind, center, and do the knee circles or a happy baby. Just to lift the inner thighs one last release. And bringing the feet together, hold on to your ankles with your hands, and maybe you hold on to the outer edges of your feet if you could reach. I'm going to have you pull the heels in towards the pubic bone, but energetically reach the knees away from you. And then for a moment, lift the head off the ground, bring your toes up towards your forehead. And then keeping the feet together and the knees wide, rest your legs down on the ground like how we started. And Supta Konasana. Take 3 mindful breaths. Inhaling through the nose. Exhale out of the mouth. Witness your humanity as the body breathes itself. And the heart grateful for every beat. And relate to your mind in the same way, watching the fluctuations. Just another function. Just as you can modify your breath. choose which thoughts to navigate with. Disengage from them and just watch like clouds passing in the sky. Sanctuary you've created. Acknowledge yourself and the time spent focusing on your breath. Paying attention to detail in your alignment. For doing the physical practice, for showing up. This is all a practice. Even as we leave this formal setting, this curiosity of life will come with us. And we breathe in the breaths, curiously exploring where the breath travels to. Eventually, allow the breath to travel to the toes and fingers, waking them. Let movement grow into wrist circles and ankle circles. Eventually, reaching the arms overhead. And as we rest on one side, pause there. In a moment of kindness. If there's anything you need to forgive yourself for, do it now. Leave it behind as you rise into your seat slowly, mindfully, arriving with closed eyes and hands at heart center. Finish with a moment of gratitude. What are you grateful for today? Carry that warmth in your heart and that smile on your face, and distribute it to everyone you come into contact with today. Take one more breath with me. Inhale deeply. Exhale. The light in me honors the divine light within you. Namaste.